The Philippines wraps up its inaugural hosting of the Open Government Partnership Regional Summit, showcasing the country's achievements in pursuit of an open government. With us now on Thought Leaders is the Philippines Lead for the Advocacy, Department of Budget and Management Secretary Mina Pangandaman. So good to see you and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Miss Cathy.
And I believe that's the first dibs of the Philippines hosting this event on the Open Government Partnership. And you've said it was a big deal.
Yes, it was a big deal. But first of all, I'm just so happy and proud to host more than 1,000 participants and delegates from both international and local. You know, we have more than 300 international participants across Asia Pacific region and different parts of the world. And the rest are from the Philippines in the different sectors. We have the academy, we have our development partners, we have local government units, and then we have those in the national government. So we're just really happy to host this and was able to impart that the Philippines is there. We're taking a lead in the open government.
And that you've seen the evolution because prior to being in the DBM, you'd been with the Bangko Sentral,
Yes,
where
yes.
open government partnerships been a big theme. How have you seen that evolution, especially for the Philippines and its participation as a founder?
You know, in Bangko Sentral, they're not really open and they're really not transparent. That's one of the issues that I came to know when I entered Bangko Sentral back then with Secretary Jokno, Governor Jokno, and then I attended the sideline during the UN event last October in New York City. And then it was a roundtable conducted with the OGP support unit. And then one of the issues raised there is that how can a central bank or even any financial institution be part of the conversation, be part of the community of open government. So that's when I thought, oh yeah, I think we should ask the central bank to be part of the family. But you know, in the Philippines, when Secretary Ben used to be DBM secretary,
Ben
so he
Jokno.
knows the open government partnership. He was among the forerunners. He tried to get a seat in the steering committee during his time. So he knows about the open government partnership. So when we moved to Central Bank, our tagline, our brand before was that bringing BSP closer to the people. So that's what we did. Central Bank Governor Ben Jokno then was open to media. He has a media engagement every week. We released a lot of press statements, a lot of publications, and we increased the financial inclusion program and project, among others. So, and then yes, digital payments. We went around the country to promote digital payments and financial inclusion.
When you
So
said,
there.
when you came to the Bangko Sentral, it was not open, not transparent. Connect the dots for us in a positive way. If we're open and transparent, what does it really mean for the people?
Because
the civil society?
generally, Cathy, central banks are very conservative.
Yes.
You know that. I'm sure you know that all over the world. So they don't really provide you much information. But you know, they play a major role in helping us develop our economy, our financial system, our financial health. The very fact that Governor Ben then introduced the roadmap for financial inclusion and digital payments. That's a big start for at least getting the people be part of the financial system. So that's something big. And then pandemic came, so naturally everyone was using their GCash, their e-payments, and all of that. So it's actually sort of a fortunate, well, the COVID incident is not fortunate, but it was fortunate for us during that time in the central bank that we were able to at least get more people involved in the digital world in terms of transactions, payments, among others.
Because financial access really gives them a chance to improve their lives,
Yes.
which in turn
Increase the
growth and
savings, yeah, increase access to loan, access
maybe
to credit,
investments,
yes.
and then an economy grows. So
Right.
that's the full ecosystem, if you will, the importance of open government.
Right.
But tell us about that leadership. As you mentioned, we lead in the conversations on open government. And you did make a mention and reveal that 4 new members out of the 12 announced in the open government partnership in the summit here in the Philippines are Filipinos.
Yes, they're from the Philippines. Yeah.
And from
So
where
that's
and why did they
1/3.
deserve the membership?
One-third. So
What were the qualifications?
Yeah, it's quite a stringent process, Cathy.
To get vetted for that new
Yes,
membership.
and then I know that there's a lot of local government units who tries to apply for that, but we were lucky enough to get the 4 spots. So it's for the longest time, South Cotabato's been there. We have Baguio City, Quezon City, Larena, Siquijor, and one more, Tagbilaran. Did I get it right? Tagbilaran, Bohol. So there. Generally, this LGUs provided space for CSOs in their
Civil
governance.
society
The civil society
organizations.
organizations are very much present in their governance, in their budget process, in their planning process, in their own legislative process. So I think we want to make them our model nationwide. Because as I said, while we got 4 spots out of the 12, it's 1,400 municipalities all over the country. So, and then we recognize just 5, so we want more.
And you want more civil society organizations linking up with the local
Yes.
government units. There is
Yes.
this need to reach the grassroots.
Yes.
And get the conversations and the engagement going.
Yeah.
Why is that important? And how does that contribute to the whole advocacy of open government partnership?
Maybe I can give you one example. When I started in the Senate as a young staffer straight from school. There was no procurement law in the country during that time. And my boss then, Senate President Edgardo Angara, is the prime mover, the author of the bill. It's the first bill. It's not easy to pass a bill that is something new, in the country. You have to go to the Congress and it goes up to the Senate. But he was able to finish that law in records time as well. Why? Because we were backed up with civil society organizations, with development partners, with private organizations. Media was there, local governments was there. So we got the support of the legislature, and we were able to pass then the Government Procurement Act, RA 9184. So when I came in as budget secretary, of course, I'm very much aware of the open government partnership because of I was there in 2016 in DBM with, again, Secretary Jokno. So the first clamor that I heard from the people is that we really have to do something with our procurement law. It was all over
Because
the
of
news.
corruption.
The corruption issues, outdated systems, among others. So, well, the first thing I did is I just communicated to our first development partners again. I heard a lot of organizations was really rallying to amend the bill, the law. So there, we came up through consultations around the country. World Bank, IMF, ADB, and some private organizations help us craft our law, our bill, and they were there during the interpellations when we were in the Senate. So yeah, thankfully we were able to pass it in less than a year. And last week we just passed our IRR, so it will be posted in our website on Monday.
So the importance of that is in the implementation now. I mean, that's
Well,
where
first in the
rubber hits
crafting.
the road. Yeah, the crafting.
Okay,
and
because we
then-
want everyone to get involved, and then we'll make
And which
sure
they were.
that whatever they
Yes.
want at least is incorporated in the law. And then now that we have the law, It's important to cascade whatever is in the law. You know, procurement is not easy. It's like budgeting. It's not easy, full of technical terms.
What are your metrics though for it? If you're talking procurement, what would be the metrics that would say this has been a resounding success, just as what the people had clamored for?
Increased utilization in the national budget. It has been a perennial problem in our national government. You know, that's one of the issues that we wanted to solve when we amended the procurement law. So hopefully, with this new law, we'll be able to increase the utilization of national government agencies.
Do you have a timeline for that?
It will take some time. We just approved the IRR. We just, us in the DBM and the GPPB, Government Procurement Policy Board, just created a new department that is capacity building. We'll have to go down to the local government units, apart from the national government, and capacitate them. It's quite a thick law.
Sure it is,
yeah, it's highly technical, but yeah, it will take some time. But this law is more flexible, more efficient, much faster. So we hope we'll be able to, before the term of our president, BBM ends, I hope that all the utilization will go up.
And this is all part of the anti-corruption move, that pillar in the advocacy of open government partnership. Also wonder that, correct me if I'm mistaken, is open contracting, which
Yes.
is very important. Where are we now in those moves, and what is the mechanism that would make us move forward in there?
Yeah. Open contracting and beneficial ownership has been there for the longest time. We actually have several, I think we have guidelines already, but it is not institutionalized in the previous law. So we're happy that now it's a result of the consultation that we should incorporate open contracting and beneficial ownership in the law. So we're happy that there's a provision already under the new law, New Government Procurement Act, on open contract and beneficial ownership. We are crafting the roadmap. We are actually starting. This meeting now of open government in Asian Pacific region is a good opportunity for us to get the best practices from other countries. While it is not new, we are just starting. Well, one good news is that we have already, we will sign next week an agreement together with the Securities and Exchange Commission for them to be able to share to us their documents and information, which is also important for those who would like to bid or who would like to get contracts in the national government. So that's one step. And then we have a couple of development partners who's helping us craft our roadmap, both on beneficial ownership and open contracting. We have UNDP, and then we also have EU and the Open Contracting Partnership Network. They're helping us also. So hopefully we'll come up with a roadmap soon.
Yeah, it really helps when there's this multi-sectoral
Yes.
partnership that you can bounce off on. There was a question earlier in one of the sessions, really interesting, on the freedom of information law. There was a diverse panel, and Australia had it, but we actually don't have one yet. So that's a big question, especially for those who are looking for more the right to know.
Yeah.
Public access
Yeah.
to documents held by the government.
We don't have the law, but we have an existing executive order that was, I think, signed during the previous administration. We're happy that yesterday the president announced that his government will push for the enactment of the freedom of information. So from what I know, that the House of Representatives has yet to pass their version, but the Senate is much advanced on this. I think it's already in the floor deliberations right now. So with this, maybe in our Lex LEDAC, try to push for the inclusion in our legislative agenda. And again, together with the help of our civil society organizations, our friends from media, and even our development partners, maybe you can rally behind me, and then let's just push for the bill, for the enactment of the bill.
Or maybe the cabinet secretaries themselves. I mean,
Of
they were
course!
present
They're
in
all
the
there.
Senate. They were all there, but picture for us the perfect scenario, though. If you wanted to press something to the LEDAC, How much of a help do you get from your partners in government? You've mentioned civil society, but what about how government works for you, being the lead in OGP?
I think their presence yesterday will show how solid the ministers, the cabinet secretaries are of this administration. I mean, we can hold our cabinet meeting yesterday.
Because there
Yeah,
was quorum, there was more
yes, there was
than half a dozen.
more than half of the
Right.
cabinet is present. So, yeah, there's a process. I will just have to include the inclusion of FOI. I will just have to present, uh, justify why the need for inclusion, and then hopefully they accept it. And LEDAC, it's not only the executive, the Congress leadership and the Senate leadership also sits at the LEDAC.
Talk to us about transparency in the budget department, because we're ranking quite highly when it comes to transparency.
Number one in
Number
Asia.
one for transparency.
Right.
But when I take a look at the statistic on public participation, we don't quite add up. It's a little bit way below. I mean, if we were tops on transparency, then I would have presumed that it was because of public participation, but it's not.
We're top in that open budget survey for transparency because the DBM has always been open in terms of providing information to the
It
people.
was always out there.
Yes,
in
we
the
have
public.
we even have CSO desk in DBM. Any CSO or any organization group for that matter can just go to us and ask for information and we'll provide it. Our website is very much comprehensive. Once we release our national expenditure program, the President's budget, and even the General Appropriations Act, the next day it's already there, it's posted there. We have the people's budget. We laymanize the budget because it's quite technical. Everything is there. On public participation, when we do our budget call, when we start the budget process, we also engage CSOs. Maybe, but now I think in the modern days with access to internet and Wi-Fi, you don't see this. Before I was, as I said, I was in the Senate and then there was no internet. I was a young staffer. I also my boss then became a chairman of the Committee on Finance. You need to invite all of your guests, your guests in the Senate. But now they can be online. So I think that will play a major role. So
So it played a major role in the most recent budget
yes,
process.
yes. I think when we presented the budget in the Senate and the House, everything was there. It was out, but there's just one stage wherein there's no. I think you heard about it. The
bicameral,
the
committee
BICAM
meeting.
stage. Yeah,
Only
it's
because
not yet
it was
open.
closed door, and the
Yeah.
criticism is that maybe it should be open to the public. I
Maybe
mean, we're talking
yeah.
about transparency.
Should be. Why not?
Are you
right?
for it?
Yes. Why not? Why not?
Would you be able to gather the whole cabinet to say, why not? Let's open it to the public. So that,
Yes.
when people complain, they complain right there. They
That's
don't
what
complain to the
transparency
Supreme
is
Court.
all about. When they ask what is open government to you, for me, really is number one is building relationship. When you have relationships like this with your friends, family, or your colleagues, everything seems to be much easier. And then when you have relationship, you build trust. So that's definitely the two core items of open government.
I like that you mentioned trust, because as it appears right now with what's gone on, a lot of furore over the 2025 approved budget. We could have avoided this, couldn't we? I mean, if we had public participation right there, I mean, what can be learned so that we don't face an issue where the civil society, whom you want to put to your side, would go up against you?
Well, greater participation and really transparency. I think, yes, everything is quite transparent now, but there's just one state that really needs to be open. So yeah, maybe we can, during our LEDAC also, we can probably make representations to our leadership in both houses if that's possible. But it's a constitutional mandate that it's part of the budget process. You have to give it to them. It's the power of the purse. So while we want to push for the president's budget to be the exact one once it was signed the president, but we also have to respect their mandate.
And also perhaps incentivize the civil society, the public itself, by showing them that this is not a defunding,
Yes.
because from the view of the public, it seems that the projects that they care for most, the development projects, had been defunded, had been diminished. So right there and then, you just talked about public trust. There's like parang may nagkalamat kung sa ating lengguwahe, no? Kasi nga, bakit nyo kami tinanggalan ng pera? Eh kami na nga yung nagpa-participate para tulungan kayo.
In the new Government Procurement Act, there's a provision there on civil society or even POs, NGOs, as an observer in the procurement process, in all stages of the procurement process. I think that's important. That can be incorporated in the entire budget process as well.
So how are you looking to address all this? I mean, budget is one, but then there's also some governance issues. Unfortunately, coming on top of budget, the impeachment of the vice president, all this coming together, a lot of problems. It's never perfect, but how do you address that from an OGP?
We just move forward. We just continue to provide space for everyone to work together, build relationships, talk, continue with the discussion, be open, bukas. Maging open sa lahat. I mean, we have nothing to hide here. We're public officials. We're here to help. We're here to serve the people. So we just to continue to work.
I remember now what you said. It's a play of words, and I liked it. Bukas. Bukas na pamamahala, which is really open government. But you also said
bukas,
which is tomorrow.
For a bright tomorrow.
Shouldn't take too much time to get there. But then again, I come to think of the bigger picture. There are governance changes across the world, and the biggest one that we're watching right now, the big elephant in the room, is Trump 2.0. And he seems to be instituting a lot of radical changes that might challenge the evolution of open government partnership as we know it. From your point of view, as you discuss the changes in the U.S. leadership, how are you approaching the potential unknowns and what Trump might bring to the partnership? Being a founding member, the United States is one of 8, along with us.
Well, first, we are all aware because of what he already made mention in his statement. But again, we take opportunities like this kind of meetings, like this kind of consultation to be heard. We want this kind of events for us to be able to air what we need, whatever we want to raise. So I think it's important to have a voice in whatever avenue. So OGP is really a great model, just to be able to impart whatever is necessary.
From the point of view of the Philippines being a longtime ally of the U.S., what do we have going for us for OGP? If we come to the U.S. and talk to them about OGP, what would it be? What would be our strength?
Maybe I'll just tell them that, we're a founding partner. You started it. We're moving forward. We're trying to push for the advocacy. We agreed with the commitment. So maybe just continue the OGP commitment and the agreement. Let's be family. We can do this.
There's one comment in the panel that I had attended, a fellow government official who made mention in answer to my question, and I asked that same question, and he said, we're a mature democracy, and mature democracies know what we stand for. Do you agree? And if so, what would be the strength of our own democracy? that would
Yes.
support the advocacy of OGP?
Yes, I agree. Maybe we've always been democratic. So, I mean, Filipinos are, we are not weak. We're very resilient for that matter. So, we will try to push whatever is necessary, whatever is important to us. We will keep moving. We will keep the OGP community alive, whatever it is.
So from today, from whatever we collect from the takeaways and the outcomes, how do you take this forward and make sure that what happened here as a regional summit for the first time in the Philippines will be remembered and will be a milestone in the whole 13-year existence of OGP?
You know, we're one of the pioneers wherein open government principles is incorporated in our national development plan. We institutionalize it. We made sure that the entire national government and even the local government units are part of the open government. So maybe next step is that pushing it forward, maybe we can ask our peers in the Asia Pacific region to do the same. Um, it's a call, not only from me, but it was a call then from the previous CEO, President of Open Government, Mr. Sajay Pradhan, that it's a call that to make sure that you at least copy what the Philippine model, incorporate the open government principles of accountability, and civic participation, and transparency in your national plan. So we did that, we're happy, and we want to show that to the world.
You take this from a different lens, and an additional one at that, being the only Muslim cabinet member of PBBM and the first budget secretary who is Muslim. In your dealings as the lead for OGP, how do you think that worked out, being a Muslim representing the Filipinos in the Philippines?
You know, more than transparency, accountability, sustainability, and civic participation, another pillar of open government is inclusivity. So it is really something that I really push forward. When we started the interview, we talked about financial inclusion. So that's exactly it. So I hope everyone can involve even the smaller sector of the country. So there, I'm just happy that someone from Mindanao, who is actually a minority in the country, female for that matter, is here and able to help this administration.
Right. And before we wrap, very interesting as I was looking over your profile, your birthday falls on Christmas Day.
Yes! I only get one gift.
And
That's the
which is?
problem.
Which
Only
is?
one gift.
Alright, 'cause
Birthday,
it's-
no
alright.
Christmas gift.
But what's it like to celebrate Christmas though? You're Muslim and presumably most of your
we
friends
don't
are
have
Catholics.
we don't have Noche Buena
Okay.
kasi ano nga po, Muslim kami.
Yes.
But we get together because it's my birthday, and I was raised by really big family. I was raised together with my cousins. While I'm an only child, I was raised together with my first cousin. So yeah, and we also have big celebrations because it's my birthday.
Right. Big celebrations, but one gift. But it's
Yes,
it's
just one.
probably
It's
a
fine.
very
It's
memorable
fine.
gift.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much and congratulations for this summit. Appreciate the time and the advocacy that you carry.
Thank you very much, Miss Cathy, and thank you for helping us.
Sure, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Conversation doesn't end here.
Yes, we will continue.
Thank you. And catch us again next Thursday at 9 p.m. Philippine Standard Time on One News. You can also check out the long conversation on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And if you haven't done so, like or follow my social media pages. I'm Cathy Yang, and this is Thought Leaders.